How's it going, everyone? Happy Tuesday out there. Hope you're having a swell, amazing Uptober. Come on, Pulsechain, Uptober us. My body's ready to be Uptobered. Ready. Put that deposit in for the McLaren. The McLaren is the doors, has the wheels. I thought it was a Lambo for a day, and then somebody corrected me. It is McLaren. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Zoom to the moon. There you go. Pretty cool. Aspirations. That's what everybody wants, right? They want a fast car. And that's all you need to go to places quickly. Probably more than that. Probably a lot of people want to do a lot of other amazing things with their lives, but they can't do it without a lot of money, right? It takes a lot of money to do amazing stuff. So today, great show. I'm excited. A little bit all over the place. Got some guests coming. There's another stream happening right now. This is like the only time I could get things situated, and Cryptosolv could come on stuff as well. So hopefully he'll be here in a few minutes, and we'll get into the rundowns of amazing stuff happening with the ETH, the Treasury. Number go down. Actually, I want to check and see if we're still on the strategic list as number 5, because we were number 5 for a while, but I haven't checked it. So let's see. Anyways, get your questions, comments in as we go. We'll go for, I don't know, we'll see when fast shows up how far we'll go. Maybe this might be a long one, so buckle in, buckle up. All right, so let's scroll down for a minute. We are still number 5. Okay, 160K. Actually, it did update. Even on strategic ETHreserve.xyz, we have updated to 160K. So this used to be, so originally, a little bit of history for everyone, if you're unfamiliar, or what are we talking about? So Pulsechain sacrifice happened. There was DAI, there's ETH, there's all this stuff. And it was 171,000. I think the DAI was turned into 171,000 ETH. And then some was like 4,000, 4,500 or so were moved. And then another a lot of that was moved. So it went from, I guess that'd be 11,000. So it must be over 9,000. Let me check. PulsechainTreasury.com, another new amazing site. New to me, at least. I haven't seen it. So yeah, this is tracking it. So yeah, how did it go from 171,000 to 160? Yeah, this one says 161K. This one says 160. Okay, whatever. Close enough. So down to 161. I guess that matches up. Kind of close. So a bunch of ETH was moved, transferred out. So almost 10,000 ETH transferred out in total. So let's see if we can hover around this. Transferred to external wallets, including possible deposits to privacy protocols. Some transfers may be bridged into Pulsechain. That's very important because there's been a few developments over the last couple months or so. We've seen some bridged in through Tornado Cash. I covered that before. And they may or may not be related, but a lot of people are betting they are related. And so the idea was there was a bunch of ETH, Treasury. 4,000 or 5,000 of it was bridged out. And then, however long ago. And then 4,000 or 5,000 of it was bridged out recently. And then a few weeks ago, some of it was bridged. Some ETH was bridged to Pulsechain from Tornado Cash, which people may think is related. So the idea would be, if you want a theory here, the SAC, OA, RH, whatever, could have moved some of the ETH out and then use privacy protocols to move it back in. That's like one theory as well. So pretty cool stuff. I'll get to it a lot more in detail with Cryptosolv, who is here. And I'll bring him in and we'll talk more about it. So welcome back to the show. Cryptosolv, good to see you, man.
Yeah, hey, man. Just check my microphone's working. All good?
All good. You came just in time to see me butcher the explanation of the ETH moving around.
I don't think butchered. I think appropriate and fairly accurate.
It's, once you cover so many times, and there's so many different pieces to it. That's the thing. It's like it was DAI once, and there was ETH, and then some was bridged out, and there's Tornado Cash. So many different pieces to it. So that's why I'm glad, again, appreciate your time coming on. again to talk about it and what's happened recently, which is one of the most interesting. I think you even said on X, one of the most interesting things happening around Pulsechain right now.
Yeah, one of the things you just touched on is I guess the complexity and confusion of the history of the movements and where everything's gone, and that's actually something I see pop up quite often. There's quite I guess a body of people who think that there's still a whole big pool of DAI sitting in wallets related to the SAC wallets. There's not. It all got transformed into DAI. Some of it went into savings DAI for like days to a week. And then it all got used to buy ETH. So like it's all ETH. There's nothing else hiding in the wings that people are ignoring. You know, all the Treasury websites that have been spun up are pretty much spot on. They're tracking the relevant wallets, and it's all ETH. I guess that was just one thing I wanted to clear up because I see it all the time.
Yeah, and that was the question too. Is like, oh, it was DAI, it was being staked, and then it got turned into ETH. Some of the speculation is, because ETH is more decentralized, maybe it was to like protect that part, or maybe it was just for privacy. Where I mean, you can move ETH through the privacy through Tornado Cash, but you can't do DAI in the same way, right?
You can do DAI, but the anonymity set is basically zero. Like it's not, you know, at least the ETH anonymity set is big enough that you can sort of like vaguely mask the movements if you're slow and careful. I mean, it's a large chunk of capital to be moving, right? So some of it is probably done for pseudo-anonymity and to give plausible deniability between links. But like the DAI pool is so small that it would be very clear if you tried to move tens of millions of dollars through it, you know, the linkages.
So clear advantage using ETH for at least the anonymity sets that exist today.
Yeah, 100%. And as you said, like completely decentralized. Not that DAI can be frozen or switched off, but I guess there was some concern and speculation as they were migrating to Sky that potentially there was going to be some addresses blacklisted, or there was going to be some issues surrounding that. So I mean, I think if you're going to pick the most decentralized thing to sit in that can't be frozen, can't be stopped, pick ETH. You know, irrespective of price performance. I mean, price performance is now in recent history at least up on average buy.
Yeah, haven't heard Richard bought the top for a while. It was like, to me, it was like, that was always, it's gonna, you know, the price is, if you think ETH is, if you're bullish on ETH, what does it matter what price you buy it at? You know, what's the difference between a 3 or 4x and a 5 or 6x? It's like, come on, still probably billions of dollars.
No, I think you'll find that every single person on Twitter would have bought the absolute local bottom.
Yeah, I think that's
because they're better, you know.
That's the financial advice I hope to get from someone how to trade that well. Before we go ahead.
You buy the local bottom because, like everyone, you're managing $700 million worth of assets, and it's pretty easy to time things.
I'm glad the custodian or the holder of the keys are a smart person. So far I haven't seen anything otherwise. But before we get into the treasury too, I want to ask, why do you think, this is a question that's came up before, instead of, okay, so maybe ETH, it could have been a decentralized move. It could be maybe better for moving around for privacy stuff, but it's been, a year or 2 years or so with having that much of the funds around, whatever format it would be in. Why not have, why did they ever, if not turning into ETH, why wasn't it staked for DAI? And maybe that's the decentralized issue. Or if it's in ETH, why is the ETH even sitting there? Why isn't it in some like liquid staking protocol or otherwise earning yield? And then like the whole narrative of like using the yield to like put a permanent buy on Pulsechain assets, for example, if they want to support Pulsechain. Why this particular move?
Yeah, this one I wrote a post on that wasn't very popular with a lot of the community, because again, like a lot of the community think, well, if I was managing $700 million of ETH, I'd just do this. But my opinion is that no element of additional contract risk is super appropriate when you're handling that much very publicly visible money. Like every man and their dog thinks it's theirs and is watching it like a hawk. And so the minute lots of the staking options, you can stake it in validators, that's fine. If validator staking was a risk, then ETH would be fucked, right? So you have to say that ETH validator staking is okay, but what ETH validator staking also comes with is a cost to run validators, right? And the challenge of running validators when potentially there are some authorities interested in you might be a challenge too far. There's other protocols, Lido staking ETH or something like that have been around for a long time, very safe, very well audited, never had an issue. Could you use them? Sure. But I mean, why take the risk? Why take the contract risk for, 4%? And yes, 4% on that value is pretty significant, but I don't know. I just don't see the point in taking the gamble.
Yeah, and with this too, leaving it liquid, it's not just liquid in like one address too. It's by there's 10, 15, 20 different addresses that contain
30 something.
30 something, okay.
I mean, that's kind of relevant. It depends on how the keys are being managed and stuff. I don't know if those addresses have, they're hopefully not just all one set of keys on a MetaMask on phone. Yeah, hopefully fairly well managed and potentially all separate keys and but you can put it all in one address if you wanted. It just seems silly.
I think the idea between splitting up is just showing like this good stewardship and security and like keeping it liquid. Maybe, I think my theory on why it wasn't staked, all this stuff, is that to keep the options open, to keep it liquid in case wanted to, transfer some out, move it around, tornado cash it, bridge it in, whatever. And you don't have to exit validators or hope that, I don't know about some of the protocols. I don't know if they have blacklists or not that could do certain things like that. Hopefully not. Maybe some research was done into some of the options and there were some good options, but maybe it's not that safe enough to do. So I think everything has been to keep the money intact and to keep it decentralized and keep it, not being able to be censored because it could be used for something.
Yeah, 100%. And I think you bring up a valid point about the flexibility. Like a lot of the staking protocols have a delay to enter and exit. And that delay is, potentially an unacceptable delay when you might want to jump on an opportunity, or just running quick math on the total amount that was there, which was like 171,000 ETH before some was moved or something like that. Every time there's like $100 movement in price, there's a $17 million shift in the value of those bags. So, you stick it in a staking protocol and you get 4% a year on 723 million, or the price moves $200 and you've made the same. And you've not, lost the flexibility, and you've not added any level of contract risk, or I don't know. We could talk about it for days on end. I think my opinion is that the risk averse approach was the reason why, and the flexibility was the reason why. And people are going to argue that point until they're blue in the face. But again, they're not the ones managing what could be $1 billion of ETH soon.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. It's hard to criticize. It's hard to be. I think the only criticisms that it's had is why is it being staked? And it's like, okay, there could be risk there. The other one is why was it the local top? And it's like, well, like the liquidity position maybe is harder to get, like you said, price movements and stuff too, and the new update Sky and all that talked about, where that could be again risk to your money being censored. So I think everything was taken with like very high security, and every move was trying not to be censored, which it's working out pretty well so far.
Yeah, it's also like, I know the liquidity is pretty good, but at around that sort of price level, local top, that was a price point at which you could inject, I think it was like $670 million or something. That was a price point at which you could inject that, and the liquidity was there because he can't buy on a centralized exchange, right? Like he has to buy on a decentralized exchange, and the liquidity is only so much. And so if you want to enter a significant position, you don't want to basically push the price against yourself constantly and get arbed constantly. Then you have to be buying in an environment where the FOMO is real and everyone's selling and buying and the volume's high.
Yep, exactly. Well, let's get into what's happened recently. I think yesterday I first saw a couple tweets. I think the first one I saw was from you. Again, excellent tweets. Love all the content you put out, especially around some of the wallet tracking and Hex stuff and Pulsechain too. But seeing this much, you said, was it 5,400 ETH came through?
5,400, yeah.
Yeah, can you take us through like what happened? Like what, we've seen this before, some of the ETH moving, Tornado Cash being bridged in. Everyone's like, oh, Richard just bridged some in and we'll get the signal. And well, I think it's been, if you think that's the same entity, then it's been bridged in. What happened recently though, like the last 24 hours with this?
Yeah, so 5,400 was taken from one of the known SAC associated wallets and all put into the Tornado Cash 100 ETH pool. Similar happened in April, where it was around 4,200. And between times, what was it, August, I guess, we saw 1,100 come out of Tornado Cash and across the bridge and is currently still sitting idle. And so, yeah, in those two time periods, we've seen sort of just about 10,000 come out of SAC wallets, go into Tornado Cash. About 1,000 of it's come back out. But, like where do people think the money for the marketing devices is coming from? Where do you think the money for lawyers that probably costing in the $10 million range is coming from? It doesn't take a genius to figure this stuff out. And is some of it going to come back? I mean, I think we've seen evidence that, yeah, it probably is. We can assume this is the same entity because of the size and the way they act and I guess the nature of the transactions they use and the protocols they use and the moves they make. But you put something into an anonymity set like Tornado Cash, and then months later you pull some out. It's pretty hard to link the two, and that's probably part of the reason, right? Like the money's got to go in so you can set up for moves later.
That's a good point too. So last time there was some of the ETH was bridged out, and then we saw it come in through Tornado. Yeah, what was the time period for that? Like, did it take a couple months or so?
4-month gap, yeah.
Okay, so for this one, do you expect it to be like, okay, 4 months from now we may see this one bridged around once it's been slushed around the anonymity set enough? You think there's a pattern there?
I don't know. I mean, 80% of it might go to other costs. We saw a tweet this morning about a significant number of new tablets coming in soon. And so, yeah, maybe some of it will come back in. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll come back in a week's time. Maybe it'll come back in 4 months' time. Predicting this is nearly impossible. And I think this is one of the areas I get a little bit frustrated when I see the community. The community's real good at claiming, 5,400 ETH went through Tornado Cash. It's coming back in. Get your buys in now. You can't speculate that. Even if it does come back in, look at the stuff that came in August, which is presumably from the same entity. It came back in August and has done nothing. It's sitting there, absolutely liquid, just chilling. And not a single transaction is made since it was bridged in. So, it's cool to be bullish and speculative and excited, but temper your expectations,
Or have none thereof is what we have to do.
Or have none thereof. Yeah, and people are hurting and people are bleeding, and everyone assumed that these SAC phases, 3 years ago or whatever they were going to be their ticket from, ticket to wealth, and it's not eventuated so far, but have some patience. If you assume that this is as good as it's going to get, then that's ridiculous, man. And I think, I guess there's one sound bite I'd like to throw out there, because Rich has talked about it. A lot of the community's talked about it on social media at the moment. Like, the negativity is ridiculous. And at the end of the day, like, if you don't like what's going on, if you don't like the way prices have gone, why are you still here? Why are you still hanging on? Sell your shit, walk away. The reason why you're still here is because you believe that there is a speculative potential that you're going to see significant performance, right? So why would you spend your time shitting all over, the founder of the chain and the rest of the community? At what point does that help your speculative 10x or 100x in the future? It probably diminishes it. It drives people away. It makes the community, worse and the infighting worse. And people looking from the outside are probably going to be like, do I really want to jump into a community that looks like that right now? I don't know, man. Like, if you want the gains, stop being a little bitch.
Yeah, it is confusing. I think there's no logical approach to it. I talked about it the other day of like, why flood your own bags? Why create drama? Why have these expectations that somebody needs to go do work? It's like, Richard, you need to live stream. You need to do this. You need to do that to pump my bags. If you truly believe that there is this, speculative ecosystem that has all these amazing things going for it, and if you believe that eventually it will come, just in the meantime, distract yourself in a healthy way. That's what I do. At least I distract myself in a healthy way. I stream, I create content, I interview people like you to inform the community and try to do positive contributions. But it's like, there is no good that can come from the negativity. It's not going to make Richard do anything. He doesn't care. He doesn't care what anyone says. He's not listening to us. He's got a better plan anyways, I would suspect. So
he's not going to read some guy. No, he's not going to read some guy bitching and moaning and be like, fuck, he's right. I should have done something. My bad.
Like, Brett Tep, this is the 15,000 Block Explorer comment. We should launch one now. 14,000 was not enough. The 15,000 one, it made me, you go do it, Brett Tep. Go get our devs, go. Like, it's not going to happen. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's going by his own. If there is a plan, it is not our plan. It is his. So we could just hope that he is aligned for glory as much as we are.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately plans evolve, right? Like, things might not have panned out.
Yeah,
things might not have panned out how expected. I don't think you probably expected an Interpol red notice. Probably, maybe you expected an SEC court case, but like, there's curveballs and you've got to change the plan, and ultimately that's probably made things a lot more challenging than they might have otherwise been. So, like, what could have happened and what has happened are two very different things. And again, ultimately, at the end of the day, like, if everyone knew what they were getting themselves in for, everyone knew that this was like high risk and potentially high reward, but everyone forgets the high risk bit. Everyone just assumed this was guaranteed free money. This was not the place you should have been investing if you were trying to guarantee yourself money. You should have put it in a savings account at 3% interest and taken the easy road to small wealth, or you should have bought ETH, or you should have bought Bitcoin, or even just diversified a little bit, right? For people who are 100% in the ecosystem,
should have bought BNB.
Yeah, should just like diversify a little bit. And I guess it's people are probably looking at this and saying, man, 2 years ago, why didn't I do this? Why did I do this? And well, those are the decisions you make. And you got to live with those decisions. And at the end of the day, I think we see a lot of commentary from people who invested more than they could afford to lose. And that's like the first rule of investing. Don't do it. Again, I come back to the point, like, stop being a little bitch. Sell and walk away, or be a positive influence in the community.
It's probably the two of the best options: sell, walk away, or be a positive. Like, and I'm not well diversified, and at the risk of sounding Kool-Aid-y, honestly, when I see what Richard's been through and why he's still, whatever plan he's executing or had to pivot on or all that stuff. I mean, he went through a lot of personal. Again, the court case was about him, right? Like, they named the other defendants Hex Pulsechain, whatever. But anyways, when I frame it, if I believe in this ecosystem, I want to see this place succeed. and I don't care how long it takes. I wish it was sooner, but it's out of my control. So there's no point in me, wishing or having expectations there. I actually have gratitude. I'm like, wow, I'm thankful the dude is still around tweeting. I'm thankful that he only turns his comments on and off sometimes. I'm thankful that that we've got people contributing to the marketing campaign and doing amazing work there. I see new sites. I see new block explorers. I'm thankful the community is still building, and we still have people around who still do believe, regardless of the noise out there. So I don't know. I'm pretty plugged into this ecosystem, and I'm just very grateful to see the people who are still here, kicking ass and doing stuff like you're doing too, providing good information that we can be like, whoa, guys, there is something a little bit deeper here. Like you can see amazing things happening. Don't matter if the price went up or not yet. Like this is very encouraging.
Yeah, and I think what people also don't see is the immense amount of work that goes on behind the scenes to try and like integrate Pulsechain into sort of wider crypto communities and sort of, get the nice things that we'd like to have, right? Some of these external block explorers and some of the, like you can see a lot of our charts on TradingView now, and you couldn't do that 12 to 18 months ago. And how did that happen? Community members reaching out to them and sort of making sure it happened. A lot of the sites you see and a lot of the tools that you're sort of starting to see pop up, they don't happen without like an immense amount of work behind the scenes from community members. And I think if you just look at the price charts and all you see is red and you think, well, everything is going to shit. Yeah, okay, cool. But like, man, there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes. And if that work ends up in vain, then, so be it. That was the risk you were willing to take. But ultimately, if and when the green candles come, a lot of the work's been done to, facilitate this ecosystem being really strong and really positive and well integrated in a vastly different world to, 4 or 5 years ago, where Hex was basically just seen as a scam by everyone bar a small minority.
I think the preparation of this ecosystem to achieve that, I think it takes a long time. I mean, you talked about the integrations. We've seen hyperlane stuff come online. We've seen a ton of different, Liberty swaps, didn't exist a few months ago. As Richard tweeted too, like we have everything we need. We just need more people to know about it. So the marketing aspect, bringing people in, giving, if there is any positive movements for the ecosystem from the SAC wallet, they're got to be in better position than before. Like I think things keep getting incrementally better, but it's just very hard to see for the community.
Yeah, for sure. And it's hard probably if you're not in the depths and behind the scenes and talking to the right people in the community to see this going on. Like we spend a lot of time talking to a lot of different people about this, and lots of positive stuff is happening.
Is everyone just going to sell at SAC rate? Are we just going to be happy with that, or are there higher aspirations?
I think a lot of people will. Like I think, you talk to a lot of people in a lot of Telegram chats, and the minute Hex gets anywhere near 10%, or the minute Pulse gets anywhere near SAC rate, I'm out, man. I bet the candles are racing towards the rate you're looking to exit at, and they're just not stopping. And you think to yourself, oh fuck, maybe I'm not. Maybe that would be stupid to sell now. And I guess that's probably the ultimate goal at some point, is to say, all these guys have got all these price points and targets in their heads, and then all of a sudden, they get blown out of the water by charts that just don't stop moving. And at that point, all of a sudden, you probably turn from a bit of a sourpuss into the world's greatest promoter of Pulsechain, and all of a sudden you're getting your grandma in, and you're getting the neighbors in, and first cycle Hex, right? Like that's a lot of how we grew, was just sort of word of mouth and the community really driving the uptake and integration.
People have that fear. They fear that, and from what I've seen, a lot of it is that we'll never go that high because there'll be too much sell pressure. Do you think that they're like at that point when the green candles just keep coming to get more green candles, They see Richard tweeting, maybe a live stream, maybe he doesn't, but they're like, there's nothing but good news for Pulsechain. Do you really think they'll hold that, what I would call red candle position, red candle syndrome of like, no, I'm going to sell at sack rate. I'm going to sell on a 2X. I'm going to get out Hex at 10 cents. Or do you think, wait, this time it's different. Things have changed. I see the light now. Of course, we're going to get a 10,000X. Do you think that a lot of people that have those opinions now is just red candle syndrome, and that when they see the green candles, the FOMO will set in?
Probably. People invest with emotions, even though they shouldn't. And it's hard. Like, it's hard to watch your bags down 90-something%. But there've been opportunities since Pulsechain started. There've been plenty of opportunities to make money. It's a challenging thing. Not everyone's down 90-something%. Plenty of us are probably at the largest bag size we've ever had from a dollar value perspective, which is promising. But equally, as price moves up and as people look to run for the exits and stuff, it may be the point of the cycle where everything else is going down. So you might say, well, why would I exit now? Why would I go chasing something that's just going down or going sideways? And also, people forget that it's relatively easy for certain individuals to manipulate liquidity on chain and manipulate liquidity in DEX pools to make it so that it's really easy to drive the price up. And maybe it's really hard to sell large quantities because you're going to eat a lot of slippage. And maybe at a certain point, things shift a little bit, and maybe it's a little bit easier to sell, and maybe the price doesn't rocket up as much. And, things can be altered by altering liquidity and altering what's going on, and I guess sort of actions and sentiment from certain individuals to make things move and paint charts in a way that doesn't involve just throwing money at them.
Well, and why wouldn't that happen? Like, why wouldn't this glory narrative? Why isn't it the one that makes the most sense for Richard, his mission, for like great story for the community? Again, it rewards everyone who's been around, making contributions, believing, holding, all that stuff. Delayed gratification. Like it seems like the whole narrative of Pulsechain getting to glory. What's the counter to it? It's just a performance art piece, as that's like the highest of stakes. Talked about, like, what's the counter to that actually happening?
I don't know. There's some interesting theories around, but hey, I'm willing to listen to them all, and I'm willing to laugh at people and their negativity and mute or block them and move on. Hey man, I gotta go.
Okay, awesome. No, yeah, I appreciate the time. Awesome stuff. Real quick, I got one question here. I think it's you may be interested in.
Oh yeah. I'll very quickly answer that because I do have another meeting to attend. Ridiculous bullshit. That is a myth perpetuated by people who do not know how to read blockchains. One individual in particular. It's ridiculous. Honestly, like, I spend hours a day watching this chain, and there's no credibility to that theory whatsoever, that there's these like price suppression bots that are constantly keeping everything down. No, man, sentiment shit. People are selling. I know a lot of the big wallets that are selling. It's pretty clear. Like, it's not just dribs and drabs from hundreds of different fancy little bot wallets. No, there's arbitrage bots going on all the time. They're pretty normal in every ecosystem, but there's just people selling. Sorry. I wish it was bots that you could just turn on and off and that makes the charts go up and down, but it's not quite as simplistic as that.
Gotcha. Awesome. Thank you for the answer. I know a lot of people have been talking about that a little bit. I didn't know much about it either, so good stuff.
Yeah, I've been asked about it a few times, but anyway, I better roll.
Awesome. Thank you, Cryptosolv. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Cool. Cheers. See you.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Pretty cool stuff. I'm glad I got him for a little bit. Best timing I could have today for this. I think Fast is going to jump on in a little bit as well. But yeah, it sounds like, let's go back and recap for people just joining a little bit too. I think, so around 10th, so almost 10,000 ETH TLDR the last few months. in total around 10,000 ETH, around 9,600 or so, 10,000 ETH transferred out from the Pulsechain Treasury, Pulsechain stack, whatever you want to call it. And about $4 or $5 million was 1,100 ETH or so were bridged in. Again, it's not one-to-one tied. That's what privacy is about. It's hard to say, but people speculate that 1,100 of that ETH was bridged back in. And then just recently was 5,400 of it. So first it was around 4,000 or so bridged out. And then now around 5,400 bridged out. And will it come back in? I think Cryptosolv mentioned the other one came back in, if it was the same entity, around 4 months or so later. So sometimes it takes time for anonymity sets and stuff for you to get good. We did a whole conversation on that. Tap RHMax. Which stream was that? RHMax Tornado Cash or something? And I talk about anonymity sets, and Cryptosolv talks a lot about it with that stream as well. So pretty cool stuff. I'm glad we had him for as much time as we did. I could go for a couple hours just digging into different stuff with him. But I'm glad he could come on. He's sounds like a busy guy. So pretty cool stuff. And we get to the chat. We'll say hi to the chat. So pretty cool. And then see what else is going on. Big Foundation, how's it going? Bang, bang. Good to see you. Crypto Joe, pump it. Let's go. KD is here. Jennifer, how's it going? Hi, everyone from Canada. Another awesome day. It is, hopefully it's sunny up there as well. It is sunny over here. How's it going, Archie? Good to see you. Let's see. Trade price says he is going to use it for a while. I'm willing to bet he will leave it until it doubles. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so the ETH bridged in. So again, there's been 1,100 so ETH, 4 or 5, maybe $6 million at this point, bridged into Pulsechain of, if you believe it came from the same source, of the around 9 or 10,000 that have been bridged out so far. Man, that's a lot. So how much bridged out? So 90.95. So what is the ETH price? Or 4,500. So 4,500 times 9,600. That is a lot of money. $43 million. So around 43 million of ETH as of now that have been bridged out. Only a little bit, if it came from the same source, have been bridged back in. Maybe 1/10 of that or so, 5-10%. And when will it be used? If used at all, if it doubles, we'll see. But pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool. I don't know when it's going to be used, but I'm excited to see if we get some more clips in. Again, stack funds have been used before to clip some Pulsechain stuff. Actually, I can't remember even back then, because I think that was last year. I can't remember if we saw it was that just Tornado cashed out and then it came in and then we just had somebody on a Pulsechain wallet just buying it? Was that the way it was? I can't remember. But yeah, it's been a while since all that happened. When we first started seeing movements and stuff from the Treasury. Australian Stu, dangling the carrot in front of his bunnies is working. I want to FOMO more ASAP. That's what people are saying. They're like, oh, just Richard bridge a little bit in. I'm like, I think he might have already did it. I think that 1,100 ETH, if that's the narrative you want to follow, then Richard, OA, SAC, that entity, it's already been bridged in. And do you think it'll just bridge in and do nothing? Or do you think it'll be bridged in and at some point start putting 50K clips, 100K clips to start buying? Hard to say. Robbie Crates, how's it going? Welcome. Cryptozati, it's been hard. I know lots of people that close to selling for a big loss due to in real life experiences. I know it sucks. I don't, anyone selling, they could be selling because they just lost faith in the ecosystem. They could be selling because they have expenses to pay. I get it. Like life is life. And, you know, I never look at people selling and be like, idiot, you know, you suck. Like I'm just like, I hope that, you know, you're doing well and you need to do that. And of course I don't like to see people sell at the lows, but again, I don't know their story. Like they may have to, they may have held on for as long as they can. They're like, you know what, I can't, I got, you know, I got stuff to pay. I got, you know, that money I need back. So, I'm hopeful people can hang on and get the mad gains. And if that's where we're headed, I think that's obviously, I think everyone who believes in the ecosystem believes that, that this place can really do some X's. And it is one of those, I love what Cryptosolv talked about too, kind of framed it. I was riffing on a little bit about preparation. Like this place, like when Pulsechain launched, think about all the stuff we didn't have. Think about all the DeFi protocols, all the different projects, all the stuff that hadn't happened yet when Pulsechain launched, all the on-ramps we didn't have. A lot of the new stuff we got on Pulsechain has been pretty recent. So were we prepared to do a 10,000x when Pulsechain launched? Was the market prepared? Was anything prepared? Did we have SEC, you know, did we beat the SEC yet? Like none of that stuff. So I think waiting for this period of time is totally like understandable and rational. And if you look at it logically, if you look at it emotionally, you're going to say, fat man, pump my bags. You're going to, you know, not like the way Richard talks, or you're going to think he made all these mistakes that have killed Pulsechain or whatever other stuff. But I don't believe that. I believe in the glory narrative. And boy, if it happens, which it makes the most sense to me that it would happen, like I think a lot of people are going to be very happy, and the red candle syndrome will fade away, and it'll be like, what can I do to help Pulsechain? I love this thing. Let me go, you know, do all the stuff that everyone else has been sucking it up and doing, or do it for longer, or do it better, or have the money to. Again, as some people, again, if you don't have a lot of money to make contributions, or you don't have a lot of time because you're spending it working and all this stuff, then, you know, there's no expectations, right? This ecosystem with no expectations. Like a lot of people are just donating what time, resources, money, whatever it is that they have to the chain. That's what I've been doing, right? I don't monetize. I don't ask for any money. You know, I don't have, like, I have an amount of time, an amount of willpower, and amount of extra money. Spent so many thousands of dollars, you know, making t-shirts and, you know, hosting meetups, or, you know, running services, and, you know, spending all this stuff, swag, like all these things, supporting the community, just trying to make contributions where I can and where I want to. Again, totally up to me, up to everyone in their own as well. And because I believe in this place. And if I believe in something, I'm very consistent, if you haven't noticed. When I believe in something, and I do something, or I make a move or whatever, you know, I keep with it, right? So I'm very careful about things I do or associate, or, you know, even people I have on the show or talk with and engage with and all that stuff too. It doesn't mean I'm perfect either, but I really try to do my best to, one, fulfill my needs, and two, really, I mean, I think me and a lot of other people, of course, have shown that you can make a contribution, be patient, and be like, pay it forward, be selfless, be like, don't do things for people, do things for the community, and don't expect things in return. Just do them because you want to help, you want to make a contribution on your own terms, with no strings attached. Don't do them because you expect someone to do something for you, or favors, or it doesn't have to be, I mean, again, partnerships, all that stuff, you can assemble and do whatever you want there. But for me, it's just like, I want this place to be great. So I want my contributions to reflect the place that I want it to be. Yeah. Anyways, speaking of someone making contributions, Tam, she's hosting every Tuesday. Got his spaces on, was it Richard? Is it Richard Hart University? So pretty cool stuff. Talks about all the pulses and the hexes and all that good stuff. So appreciate you and a lot of the work you put in. Hunter, how's it going, Hunter? Do y'all not think 10 cents would be an absolute failure with previous all-time at 50 plus cents? Honestly, anything under previous all-time, even $1. I don't know. I mean, I don't like to look at things as like failures and successes, but I guess I would be surprised if we don't break all-time high on, again, this gets a little confusing because Hex is on Pulsechain now. All-time high for Hex on Pulsechain is what, 3 cents, 3.5, 4 cents, something like that. So I think that kind of like gets translated into, okay, Hex on Pulsechain needs to at least hit 50 cents, like, and all that stuff. Which, I mean, why couldn't it do that? But 50 cents on PX isn't the same 10,000X as the 50, 60 cents, whatever, for Hex on Ethereum. But yeah, I'm getting tired of talking about penny X. Like, I want dollar Hex. Like, I want this asset to reclaim its glory. I want it to be, I would like it to go up a lot. I would like everyone who DCA to be wildly, wildly rewarded. And I want it to get to dollars and hopefully stay there. We can have other volatile assets. PulseX can be a volatile asset. Let's let Hex stabilize in the dollars somewhere through there. And there's still plenty of money, plenty of dips and stuff. But like, I'd be satisfied with not another 99% dip. Maybe we'll start with like 60 to 80% dip. Hex goes to $3 and dips down to $1.50 or $1.80, all that territory. That's what I'd like to see. And there's Hex, and then there's Pulsechain and PulseX and all the tokenomics and pieces there. And it really is this ecosystem that I think the rising tide lifts all ships. I think it's being built in a way that it's a beautiful thing to see. If you want to see it, a lot of people don't want to see it. They just want price to go up so they can sell, and because they're pissed about performance and because they want it to go up faster. Nobody likes the price isn't 50x higher from here already, but I believe it can be. So yeah, if it only got to 30 or 40 cents, for example, I'd be like, really? When is it going to go higher? But because I do want to start talking dollar Hex, like this sub penny Hex is hopefully the greatest gift that was ever given to anyone DCA. See you in 2 years. Oh, I hope that the next 6 to 12 months are amazing. Like if we are at elongated cycle, or we're waiting on the Fed chair to really move before we hit a top. If it is next fall instead of this fall, that's okay too. I don't know about 2 years. I think 1 year is plenty of time to get some things going. Imagine I don't know. It feels pretty good to just think about the type of the parties, the joy, the positive engagement we're going to get in the community once we start moving. Once we do, get past SAC. I hate measuring from SAC. Sacrifice phases were a thing that happened. To me, the price is 3 for Pulsechain. Like, I think, the new people don't care about sacrifice. I talked about this at length before. New people don't care about sacrifice. They don't know what it is. They're never it's gonna be like a footnote in history for them that people got in early and had to wait a while before it went up, type of thing. I think that's the most likely thing to happen. It'll just be somebody, people talk about how they sold their sack bags at the low and they bought back higher, or they held on even when it dropped, however many percentages, and they were able to still capture the gains later on. Like, I think that'll be some interesting stories to see. So anyways, once it starts doing, without saying going past sack rate, I'll just say it. Once it starts, we're 3, 6, 9 times higher from now. I think a lot of people feel a lot richer. They will be motivated to start onboarding more people. I think it's very hard to onboard people in the community as a community member right now. Like this Thanksgiving, if the prices are the same, the next 6 to 8 weeks, Thanksgiving, Christmas, you're going to be onboarding your friends and family. I think it's very hard to, maybe that was easier around sack price, or around sack phases. And it was probably easier when Pulsechain launched, but it's kind of hard to onboard people in this kind of waiting period or uncertain. I call it uncertainty zone, not because I'm not certain it'll go up, but because the story you tell people is like, nobody wants to hear the story of, oh, look at this, look at this thing. It's really cool. The price has been down recently. I think it's going to go back up a lot. They want to hear, oh, this thing has been going up a lot. They want to buy the green candles, right? So it's really hard to onboard people, like person to person type stuff in an environment where it's like you don't have this amazing chart to show them. You don't have all these amazing news outside of the technical stuff that only the nerds enjoy. You can show them some shiny products. You can, show them Liberty Swap and all that stuff too. But it's kind of, and again, they don't have a lot of money, right? The macros have sucked. Unless you've been owning houses, unless you've been in real estate, and or gold, unless you've been buying gold. That has been crazy lately too. Or making money, on IPOs and stuff. I got lucky somewhere there, or bought Palantir, or bought some other big player out there that's did a lot of numbers. Unless you bought Bitcoin, you don't have a lot of extra money to put into risky assets, what people deem as risky assets. So anyways, I hope from this Christmas till the next Christmas, it's very, very merry, very merry. I'm hoping for that. As for marketing, he says this a lot in the McAfee interview. Yeah, interesting. Does he talk about marketing a lot in the John McAfee interview? I haven't watched that one for a while. It's a pretty epic one too. Speaking of that, he tweeted not too long ago. I'll put it up here for a second, and I'll go on. But give me just a second. I gotta take a be right back. All right, you're back. So, new Richard tweet. Next week, there should be 700,000 LCD tablets have been donated to charity, but not yet given away. 100K were given away already. Okay, cool. So last I heard on this was like 30K. Now we're up to 100K. That's awesome. Wow, that's a lot of people. I mean, don't underestimate that many devices going out to people. Think about it. That could be 100K people or somewhere around the number that have something in their hand that other people will see, unless they just, put it in a closet or something, never look at it, wherever it ends up on their table, or they take it to work, or they give it to a friend, or conversation starter, all that stuff. That's a lot of engagement. Like that's a lot of like passive, I guess you got passive engagement, a lot of, potential people who may end up, whenever they have an appetite for it, to get into crypto or look for the next big thing, to go look at Pulsechain. And it's a lot of the logo and brand recognition for it too. So that's about $10 million, $10,500,000 value at retail prices. Should they sell some to fund outreach? I don't know. When I read this about selling them, I'm like, who are they going to sell them to? I mean, I could think of like selling them on eBay, but that's kind of just like, is the market going to stabilize? Because they're going for hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars on eBay. But if you start putting them, if you put 500 on eBay, I don't know, like who's going to buy them? The community going to buy them? Like, which is this like I don't know. I don't know if selling them is what I would do. Because again, who's going to buy them other than the community? Like it's like you get a tablet that has a Nike logo on it. Are you going to go buy a Nike tablet? Like, why would you buy a Nike tablet? Like, why wouldn't you just buy an unbranded one? Unless you're just like a super Nike fan. So you're going to go buy a Bob's Repair Shop tablet if you don't like some other brand you don't know much about. So I don't know. Maybe there's something there. He's asking the question. Maybe it's just like I don't know if he's actually asking it because he thinks it's a good idea, or he's asking it to like kind of open our mind to think about other things to do with tablets. Maybe there's something there. I don't know. How can you get help? How can you help them get where they will make a positive impact in the world? I don't think about selling them. I would think about bundling them. Like, could you get some influencers to bundle them with products they sell? But then you would need to maybe you need to pay the influencers or something. So that could be something. But to give us more perspective on this, we've got our senior tablet correspondent, Fast Abdoul, back in the show. How's it going, Fast?
Hey, Max, it's going good. I'm here for the tech. I've just finished an interview with the eloquent Kim Tran, who was one of the first Pulsechain tablet receivers.
Wow. It is an honor to receive a tablet. I've yet to have such an honor. And yeah, I'm sorry that I missed the interview. Like that's, I'm definitely going to replay getting that one. How'd it go?
It was recorded. I did notice your absence, and I'm a little bit choked, but it was recorded. You can watch it later. It'll be okay.
I wanted to be there in the chat to say funny and informative things, but I'm sorry I wasn't able to do that.
Not everybody can multitask like I can, Max. It's understandable.
This is only your, I want to say, second or third stream today. So I think you still got one more to go.
Well, if you count that I was on with 7 at, sort of 1 a.m. my time. So that's 1, yeah. And Triple Dad, and I was on with then Maddie, then Triple Dad, and then you, then Crispy. Well, we'll probably get to 6 today, I think.
How's your voice still in operation?
I drink a lot of coffee. I have a lot of milk in my coffee. It lubricates the throat. It works.
Coffee is the option. I could use some more of that myself. I might make a cup too.
But don't let me interrupt you. You're talking tablets. I like tablets. Let's talk tablets.
What do you think about that? Yeah. What do you think about the selling some of them to fund outreach? I'm not quite sold on it. But what do you think?
I think the concept of selling some so that people who are going to do good things with them have an option to get them, right? And because I could say like, okay, yeah, it'd be a good idea to take every Pulsechain influencer that you like and send them 5 tablets. But like, where do you draw the line? What's the rule? So on and so forth. Like, and what are they going to do with them? It like if something's free, people don't, they won't see the value in the same way as if they paid for it, right? As somebody who's interested in the object to begin with. So you put it on Amazon for, let's say, $15, which is the math on what you have on the screen there, 700,000 tablets 10,500,000 in value. That works out to $15 a piece. You know, like, and then you'd have somebody like me who might go on Amazon, buy 3 of them, use them for giveaways on stream, use them for, you know, memes on X or whatever I want. And you could have many Pulsechain community members that would participate with relatively little financial energy. I don't think they should be $1,600 like we've seen on eBay, but to give people an option to buy them for $15, which is likely much more than they cost, given the bulk that, you know, the whoever's doing this is ordering them in. You know, I think there could be an avenue for success, and it does set an expectation. If people Google it, like, this has some value, right? It's not going to be the $1,600 eBay value, which is likely not maintainable, but it's like, oh, this is something I could buy on Amazon, but I've received it for free from this Richard Hart character. That's, you know, that's interesting to people. And then there's the advertising value of actually even having it on Amazon to begin with, which is, I don't think it's big, but it's not nothing.
Okay, so I think the 2 biggest points, well, I mean, he framed it as selling some to be able to fund outreach, but I think a couple points that you bring up is it could be good for one, marketing, and just showing, like, people be able to point people, hey, if you want to go buy a tablet, like for my favorite crypto, like, here's a link, you can go buy the tablets, or there is a price out there. And also establishing legitimacy of, wow, there, you know, I got this thing for free, but it's actually, there's a dollar value. I know it's valuable because people are selling them online. So that's pretty cool. So maybe it helps even the people who receive it value it more.
I think to say that it's going to fund them is, like, you know, might be a side effect though. Like, you never know, like, this thing goes viral. Like they sell 50,000 of them. Like, that's possible. But like we know that anonymous donors have donated to purchase these tablets. And I don't think the amount that's been donated is going to be surpassed by the amount collected from selling them on Amazon for $15. It just seems like a, you know, a stretch. But I think, you know, Richard likes to do his cyberpunk thing. And if, you know, if people wanted to do that and the cost went into getting more tablets every time, and this becomes a maintainable thing that can be done for years, that's not a bad concept. I think the real gain will be getting them to the people who would do good things with them, and having a mechanism that's financial for making that possible, and putting limits on the number, you know, like a person can get without putting in financial energy.
So I want to bring up this this image. That was pretty good. The return of Red Bull.
Nice.
I saw Showgaze post this, and I was like, this whole time, it all makes sense now. Richard Hart is the Red Bull. Is this? Do you think that? I mean, yeah, maybe this whole time it was this meta joke of, like, you know, he liked Red Bull. He's got, you know, the PP stuff and all that, but it's like he's branding himself as a return. He's going to come back as Richard Hart, the Red Bull, and instead of red candles, we'll just have, like, the most hated rally. Pulsechain did 10,000x. Yeah.
I think Richard understands his audience. He understands his audience is 99% guys, and sometimes his jokes are meant for that audience, which is fine. But yeah, Shill Gates here. This is more the branding that I would like to take to the public.
What do you think he's, you know, I did a post too about him going from, you know, humble Richard and outrage marketing Richard and all the different phases, you know, lawyer Richard, you know, winning, kicking ass, and taking wins on the legal side and all that stuff. Do you think he is in kind of, you know, FU mode right now? He's like, it's go time. I don't care what the sentiment is. We're getting the glory. Like, how do you think he's approaching, you know, the things right now?
I think he's still maintaining a sense of humor. You know, such as it is, his is different from a lot of people's, I suspect, which probably comes with being a genius. But like from his recent tweets, you know, like he's cutting out the crap. So basically what I took away from it, and you can guess which side of the equation I fell on, is like he either wants the responses that he deals with that are to his posts to be serious, or they better be real funny. That I think that's paraphrasing what he said, or you're going to get blocked. So he's kind of laying down that, like, now is go time, where, like, it's time to get serious, people. Give me good answers. Give me good interactions. don't be a huge dick, right? Don't be a worry troll. Or I'll just block you and we won't have the conversation. So, or he gave the rider, or be real funny. So I'm pretty sure most of the time I'm falling on the funny side. I'm going to try to move towards the smart serious side as we move further into the bull market.
Nice. Yeah, I think that was a good point. And I like the way he approaches it too. Like I don't know. I've turned comments off for now on my post as well, because I'm just tired of the blocking. I'm tired of the sentiment type stuff. I want to be able to, it's just too much work with that. I want to be able to post stuff and just send a message out, and maybe, it'll be more of like a two-way communication a little bit later. But I totally understand why he turned comments off. Like I wouldn't want my funny or cool or informative threads to be turned into just a shit show party of complaining and the pressing the block button. He probably gets tired of it. His fingers probably hurt from just like, oh, another one. It's just,
I hope he does turn them back on, or turn them on sporadically from time to time, because that interaction is good. Like, I try to maintain it as much as I can, though. But and I almost never block anybody, but even I have been doing it lately, kind of for the same reason that he's doing it. It's like, it's time to get serious, people. Like, if you're just being a jerk, right? Like, you're being a troll just to be a troll. Like, yeah, I don't have time. Is what it comes down to. And you're one of the bigger influencers, Max. So I can only imagine how, your threads get co-opted by people trying to either shill other stuff or just be, just be concerned trolls, maybe because they have legitimate things, or maybe just because they're sociopaths, which totally happens too.
Yeah, and there's a difference in, you guys know me. I like to have debates. I like to have discussions. But a lot of the sentiment and messaging and stuff in the community has not been either of those things. It's been, I want a place to complain. I want people to do. I want things to change. I want stop posting the same stuff for the last 4 years. It's never going to happen. Pulsechain, it's just that's not constructive. That's not discussion. That's just okay. Yeah. Now my thread looks like my post, which I spent brain power and time putting together, is now just 80% of complaining. And it's like, I love that you bring this out. I think that is something I hadn't thought about, which is even him doing it is kind of trying to send this message. He may even say this. We may see a post upcoming about this of, hey, it's time to get serious. Like, stuff's about to go down. I think that is something that I didn't pick up from it. I think it's very important.
And this is just my speculation, I think there could be an element of a final, I like to call it social shakeout, right? Like, where, Richard's blocking a couple people. If that's all it takes for them to sell their bags, then maybe they weren't meant to be here. So, like, you said something dumb, Richard blocked you, get over it and look at the bigger picture. It would be my advice, which is not financial advice in any way, but I think that is something that's kind of happening. We're seeing a little bit, we're seeing some spicy guys talking about how Richard blocked me. And, partly he's probably annoyed, and he's actually trying to get information from the community, and you're sending trolling pictures. But part of it, maybe he's having a little bit of fun with it. We may see an amnesty period in the future, or maybe some people will get unblocked and get another chance, probably the last chance. What do you think of that?
Maybe. I don't know. I think
has he been known to unblock people? I think with some big names it's happened before.
I've yet to experience the unblocking from him, so I'm not sure, and I don't know all the stories. But I think, I don't know. I always said the other day, I think the right people will be around when glory comes. I think if this is the 36th shakeout, then it's meant to be, whoever's on the team. If you're on the fence or whatever, or you just want to just keep trolling Richard, then you're gonna lose access to information or access to engage. And there's no point in doing it. That's the thing, is like, I literally think I see some people do it. I'm just like you're gonna get blocked. Like, why? Like, you're losing access to, good information, good engagement. And, if you're not interested in the chain, then why just communicate at all? Yeah. So.
Though I think there's an indicator in, what people say sometimes of what the sentiment is, but just move that indicator somewhere else. Like, you don't have to respond with irrelevant comments to the founder of the chain about whatever's making you sad that day, right? Like he does have some tweets where he says, okay, here guys, this is where you tell me what makes you angry, right? Like that kind of thing. But or you could just get the Richard Hart block bot that I've created. It checks every 0.369 seconds to see if Richard Hart has blocked you yet. So you don't have to wake up at night anymore and keep checking your X, refreshing. Has he blocked me yet? Has me blocked yet? Just get the block bot. You know, RH block bot will take care of it all.
Coming at you at only $5.99 per month subscription basis.
There we go.
That's 500, not $5. Got to make some.
Oh yeah, no. Starts at 500 and it goes up by 10 every month. 500, 5,000, 50,000, 500,000. So it's gonna make me a billionaire by the end of the year if anyone buys it, and if I actually make it. But it's not real yet, or probably never will be. But yeah, thanks for sharing.
All profits go directly into the Hex token, if I remember correctly. And if you sign up for the Premium Plus plan, Fast will call you in the middle of the night if Richard Hart tends to block you at that time.
I'll knock on your door. Like I'll, part of the Premium Plus plan is you have to tell me specifically where you sleep, like address, right? Land address, and I'll come to your house if he blocks you.
It's like a white glove treatment, very, very surgical.
That's right.
Okay. Speaking of things other than the blockeroni, Pulsechain Treasury, I had Cryptosolv on earlier. I know you got to catch up on that because he said some pretty interesting things too. But
yeah.
The Treasury 5,000 ETH, and then we got almost 10,000 ETH that have been bridged or that have been moved from the sacrifice wallet.
Yep.
About $4 million worth, around 1,100, I believe, ETH has been bridged into Pulsechain. Some speculate.
Yep.
The sources
like
are the same.
After moving through a tornado cache, though, right? So there's definitely still some
Right.
speculation there.
It is speculative, yes. What bullish? What are your thoughts on this recent move?
Well, this recent move is a really big move, right? Like I think we've seen smaller amounts come out in the past. This is the biggest amount in my memory that we've seen come out. So, like I'm bullish on what could happen. Of course, we can't have any expectations. That's not our crypto and so on and so forth. But, we've seen that entity that controls that wallet buy its own tokens before. I think we could see it again. And I don't think these things happen for no reason at all. I also think that that amount, what was it, 5,400 ETH is more than required to buy a couple marketing tablets to send out. So it may have another destination, and I have 4 destinations that seem most likely to me. I'm curious about if you have the same opinion, or if you think there'll be less possible destinations for said funds.
You talking about the destinations for what's going to happen with the bridged out ETH?
Yeah, like if that ETH makes it to, let's say, Pulsechain, where do you think it would go to?
I mean, if I'm going historically, I've seen there be clips being bought up of Hex, PulseX. Was it Ink too? Were there clips of Ink going in Ink?
Ink was bought up on occasion, I seem to recall.
All 4 of the core coins on Pulsechain.
Yep.
So that's man. I didn't realize it was like almost 10,000 ETH at this point has been bridged out or has been moved, and a lot of it tornado cashed, and only 10% or so has been bridged to the Pulsechain as of now. And that's $4 or $5 million. If ETH doubles from here, I think that's the question: is if the 10% is. Again, keep going back to people are like, oh, just bridge some of that into Pulsechain and that'll be the signal. Hasn't he already done that? Like, couldn't you make the case that has already been bridged in? That is the signal that things are getting serious. And that 10%, which is $4 or $5 million now, could turn into $10 million. And who knows when the other...
Still an ETH, if it moves into stable coins, like, do we know that it's still, like, some of the ones, the supposed ones, are they still an ETH, or have they turned into stables already?
Didn't they are? Oh yeah, part of it is in stables. That's right. Yeah, I think there is like, was it like 60% ETH and then like 40% stable, something like that. I think there's
still, so there's room to grow and there's room to be safe. I think that's fine.
But I think if there was a signal it's coming, I mean, to me that we could look back and I wouldn't be surprised if that was the signal of like things are heating up. And why wouldn't I can't think of another narrative. Like, what is the narrative? You got the dangling carrot theory. You've got the I don't need to do anything dangling carrot theory, because people are going to see that money's there and they're going to front run it because we're going to get other green candles. However, that relies on other green candles to make people think that, of course, it's going to use the ETH to buy more Pulsechain assets. I don't know why. I haven't heard a compelling case of why the money wouldn't be used, even because we've already seen it be used. We've seen SAC related stuff be used to buy clips of War coins before last year, multiple times. And now we've seen part of stuff being bridged in to Pulsechain and just sit there. So what other reason would there be than to use it at some point to, again, help green candles beget more green candles?
Green candles are good marketing. I think when we look at a bigger dollar figure, excuse me, this is what happens when you spend all day streaming. When you look at a bigger dollar figure like we see on the screen now, if $725 million was bridged to Pulsechain and just sat there indefinitely, you would have a relatively profound marketing effect just from the eyeballs that follow $725 million. From other chains, just like, especially if it was still in something like ETH, it'd be like, okay, Pulsechain has 200,000 plus ETH on it. When you added it all up, it would start to be a player just in the rankings, right? So that could be one angle of like what could be done to draw more eyeballs. But like, yeah, green candles kind of beats everything. It's really, really hard to get more excited about something than green candles, and that's what creates FOMO. That's what creates the financial energy to get more people to reach out and bring in a larger portion of the populace into Pulsechain. But this combined with the marketing is huge.
There's another question here too, just to hit on Hex real quick. Robert McLeod, I'm one of the OG Hex guys. I'm just getting really beat up down here. Really just tired of it not moving with the rest of the market. Is it supposed to be correlated to ETH? Why does it not? What do you think of the Hex situation right now?
Yeah. Well, like, correlated is relevant to liquidity, right? So is there some liquidity with Hex on Ethereum versus ETH? Yeah, sure there is, right? So when ETH goes up, it's going to pull Hex up on that chain, and it can come down and you lose that correlation when people are selling Hex, into ETH. But when we look at Hex on Ethereum, there's other liquidity pools. So there's, there'll be smaller things versus stablecoins, etc. But there's actually a lot of liquidity for Hex from Ethereum on Pulsechain. I think a couple $1 million maybe is on Pulsechain between Hex on Ethereum with Hex on Pulsechain and Hex on Ethereum with Pulse would probably be the two biggest ones. So things that happen on Pulsechain with Hex from Ethereum that's been bridged over, which of course can be bridged back to be arbitraged on Ethereum, are going to affect the price just as much as what happens with the price of ETH. So, that's how liquidity works. You have multiple pools. If there is only one pool against Ethereum and no one ever sold, you would have a 100% correlation with the price of ETH. But because people receive yield, they choose to sell for whatever reason. And there's other pools on other chains with the same asset that can be bridged back and forth to arbitrage. You're not going to see 100% correlation. Though I'm sure if you pulled back the camera, you look at a bigger picture, there is a correlation there. If Ethereum goes to 16,000, well, Hex on Ethereum is probably not going to look too bad that day. In a longer term, on the day-to-day, moment to moment, if you're looking at a 5-second chart, that correlation may not be as strong.
May both hexes do some mad gains this cycle. Very exciting times for the Hex tokens.
It only takes a third as much to pump eHex, right? Like, there's a third as much economic energy required to pump EX as PHEX because of that liquidity status we talked about. But they will both win together because they are paired against each other on Pulsechain in a pretty big way. So if Hex on Pulsechain pumps, which if I was a betting man, just for my own purposes, I would probably bet on that being the one that, Richard seems to like. It will pull up Hex from Ethereum with it, right? Like, it won't be a zero effect one on the other. and vice versa too, right? Like we don't want Hex on Ethereum to crash to zero, even if you were a P Hex maxi, because it would affect the price of, you know, many Pulse chain assets as well.
Yeah, I mean, I want EHEX to. I read a post on this recently as well about EHEX and all that. I really want EHEX to synergistically help Pulse Chain, give us marketing, give us eyeballs, give people a way in, give people a way to get Hex, and they can bridge over and do whatever they want to, and then they can start staking it and with you know, convert some to PX, do whatever they want with it. I hope that it doesn't take away from Pulse Chain. I want it to help Pulse Chain for marketing. I see it as a vehicle for that instead of and I don't know what the ratio will be in the future. I don't know which one will have more long-term stakes, but I don't know. If I believe in Pulse Chain, I'm betting Pulse Chain's the future. Then I'm going to be.
It's immutable code. Like
they're
neither of them are going away. But like I feel like Pulse Chain is where things are going to flow. It was made to stake Hex to reduce the, you know, the waste by the community going to Ethereum staking fees. So, you know, that's that would be how I would look at it myself. But yeah, I hope EHEX goes to $10. That'd be great. We all win.
Got a great question here from this person. So we have had 10 mil clip before and it got dumped straight back down. What do you, why wouldn't, let's say that some of the SAC funds started buying clips again.
Yep.
Why wouldn't it get sold back down? Like next time it happens, do you think there was like this, you know, kind of, I call them test pumps back then? Like, hey, let's see how the market responds to this, see if they get sold, see if they don't, all that stuff. Back then, very different environment than what we have today. I think a few things are similar, but quite a bit different. If it happens again, I think in the future will be different.
A lot of people are out already, right? Like the weak hands, the weakest hands, at the very least, have exited the chain. They have nothing left to sell. We have, you know, a group of Diamond Head and Chads here that are more likely to hold. But that being said, like if it was me, I would do it in such a way where sellers were punished and had to FOMO back in. So like it wouldn't be like a single God candle, you know, like that went to the moon and everybody could sell into that candle. It'd be like there'd be like, okay, there was a 50% pump, and then people sold that down. Then there was 100% pump, right? And the people who sold it down will be like, oh man, I shouldn't have sold it, right? And then there'll be a 200% pump. Like, you know, if you had them come in sequence where the sellers were consistently punished and in a worse position than if they didn't sell. And of course, there's traders who are gonna, you know, do their thing, and some will win, most will lose. But like if the general perception was if you sell, you're missing out. This is how FOMO works, because the next one could be bigger. The next one could be bigger. And then like obviously some people would win with that formula and would be long-term holders. But like for the immediate sellers, the guys just trying to front run to make like, you know, like a 0.25x, that's, you know, I think they should be punished by missing out on a bigger pump.
Do you think that it's kind of like people have to believe again? Like before with the previous pumps, maybe they just didn't believe it was sustainable. Maybe they thought it was a test pump. They're okay, I'm just going to make some money here. I know, you know, Richard's not going to pump it right now, all that stuff. But if they believe that this is, you know, the green candles are just going to keep coming, is it just getting people like, will we see sign? I guess a question on that would be like, will we see signs on the blockchain or from Richard or something? Will we see something where everyone will be like, okay, I am not selling. I have changed my mind. Like I'm not going to sell this next pump. I know this is real now.
I think, you know, first off, like we can't have any expectation of this, which I'm sure is something you've covered before, right? Like this isn't our money. We don't know what's going to happen with it. It's all speculation. But like if it does happen, I think we have to remember that, like, as far as the appearances, like the people who are sitting here watching this right now, you're not necessarily the target audience at all, right? Like, there's a massive, never before seen marketing campaign that's sending out what I think is going to be millions of these devices to people like, you know, Kim Tran that I just interviewed with Triplet Dad that, you know, are looking at the chain for the first time, right? So, like, if we see green candles that were part of the marketing, I think it's largely for those people. And you should be very interested in what those people think of those green candles and how those people react to those green candles. So, and I think the same scenario that I talked about where it's like, oh, it went up 50% and then it went up 100, then it went up 200, like where, you know, sellers got punished, that would also create FOMO in people who were thinking of adoption. So, you know, first step, you receive a tablet. Second step, you know, maybe 2 weeks later, you go to the website, you look at the DEX, how much is Pulse worth, right? You see the price, and then you check again 2 weeks later, because this thing is stuck to your fridge and you see it 14 times a day. You check 2 weeks later and it's up 50%, right? And you're like, whoa, I should have bought in. Then you check 3 days later, a shorter time frame, right? Because you're engaged now, and it's up another 50%. What do you do then? That, I think that's the magic moment, that if these funds were used for marketing, that should be the moment that the marketing is trying to create. It's not about us. It's not about the Pulse Chain people. It's not about, you know, making you rich because you believed early. That's great. And I think that's something that Richard probably would like to do. If he was in control of that, he'd probably like to make a lot of us rich. But like, to spend the money in an ethical manner for business purposes, I would focus on the new people coming in because of what they saw. The old people are going to do what they're going to do. A lot of them have left already that we're going to leave. So, you know, we have less sell pressure, and on the way up, you know, of the ladder that I've, you know, that I've commented on, like, we'd lose a lot of those people on the first 2-3 rungs. But it'd be like the 100th rung of the ladder that I would be interested in being there for. And the new people, like, they're going to come in on various stages as these marketing tablets go out, you know, as they see more and more interaction on X, on YouTube, with mainstream influencers, you know, as things happen, like us getting onto centralized block like exchanges, because of, you know, pressure from the community one way or another. Like, it's all going to add up to be a win. But that's, yeah, the focus is not the people who are here now. That's not what a pump is about. It would be about enticing new people to come participate, and you know, enticing things like centralized exchanges to want to get in on the action, by, you know, making the chain very active and financially feasible.
A comment from Street Guru: is this why we're in this ecosystem for mad gains? I'm sick of hearing this. I don't know. My first instinct is, I think a big part of it is, again, mad gains, meaning ability to multiply your capital, put it in a place where your money can go, you know, be in DeFi protocols, go make more money. Of course, price appreciation. I think a lot, or most people in the ecosystem, are here because they believe they can make a lot of money from the ecosystem. However,
I'm here
I would
for
say,
the tech maps.
we know why Abdoul's here. He's here for the tech, which is the DeFi protocols and all that fun stuff. However, I would say that there's a difference between extracting and making a lot of money. You can make a lot of money and put it in DeFi protocols and keep it in the ecosystem and not take away from it, and make contributions, and again, make your money work for you without it, you know, affecting the chain or harming it, or again, I don't think selling is harming. Anybody who has access to their keys can do whatever they want with it. Make $1 million in Pulsechain, and you take it out Pulsechain, that's totally up to you. You did it. Like, everyone owns those decisions, and hopefully you make plenty of money and everything you need. However, I think the mad gains are kind of like this. To me, it's this part of the formula. It is something that keeps people interested and engaged and aligned to be around and build products and can make contributions and you know, bring in their capital and all that stuff. But it's a necessary piece to keep them not only aligned, but also, while they're here, hopefully either build out or use protocols that can keep their money in, and again, go make more of it, or go fuel other things, or go help the chain not be a ghost chain, help it be this decentralized mecca, new financial system that a lot of people are here for as well. So I think mad gains is a big part of it, and probably it may be most of it for a lot of people. But I think for everyone, it is that incentivization layer. It is that motivation, but also a contribution to DeFi. You need there to be price appreciation, that you need there to be yield in order to have a complete DeFi system. So it's framed in a different way. I think it comes off as more part of the ethos rather than just like a short-term game type of thing.
Like, when we look at what Street Guru has said here with his all caps, like, I get the feeling like he's sick of, you know, like, not getting the mad gains, and it, you know, not being all about him, which, you know, is understandable. Like, there's been a lot of pain here. But like, I think people need to take a step back and be like, okay, you want mad gains. You were here early, and there were some bad days and it felt bad. I get that. But like, if you want to reach the point where you get the mad gains, sometimes it has to not be about you, and for the community to push things that lead to adoption. So like, when I see those green candles are for other people, it means that like it's for marketing is going to bring people, the people are going to buy up the chart, and then like you will end up with your mad gains essentially. Just my opinion, not financial advice, but I think like when we look at a bigger long-term plan, and I'm fairly positive that Richard would be planning well in advance. Like, these tablets didn't arrive by chance. Like, it would have taken months by sea and planning for manufacturing. Like, he's been working on this for a while. So like, you might not see all the pieces, and it might feel like it's focused away from your interest sometimes. But like, when there's a bigger plan like this that we start to see coming together, right? If you can zoom out, I think a lot of people in the ecosystem will feel better about, okay, I don't understand everything, but something's happening. And I think that's where we're at now.
Yeah, it's one of those. I mean, I always go back to this, like the ideal that if you create value for society, society will reward you. And I think that's the same thing on Pulsechain. If you create value, whether that's protocols or content or whatever contributions you make, if you provide value, I mean, again, this is not like a one-to-one thing. It's not a guarantee, but hopefully if you build enough, you put enough in, then you will get to reap the rewards. And that's different than a rug pull. That's different than, all these other short-term games and all these like shadow, like, oh, let's like all team up and take money and all this stuff. That's different. That's kind of like outside the system that I'm talking about. But, I think building things of value and getting rewarded for doing it, and the mad gains being the fuel to help people be encouraged to create value. I think that's like a universal principle and applies just in DeFi, just like it does everywhere else. And is it the best system? It's like the best, it's like the capitalism, the best worst system, we could come up with. As there's
best of the worst. Yeah, that's for sure. But like, crypto karma is a thing, right? As long as your OPSEC is good and you cover your other bases, like, there is something for communities that maintain, for people who are consistent and keep showing up for work one way or another. Though, like, we often, the people complaining often are not showing the consistency, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. I keep saying like I'm excited to onboard the next wave of people. They will be hopefully have less. I don't have less expectations, but they'll come in with a fresh mindset, a fresh point of view. Maybe be discouraged less when Richard tweets about something they don't like, and hopefully new builders and just people who are like, okay, I didn't do the sacrifice. I don't even know what that is, but I see this place where I can park my money, and people can teach me how to like take care of it, and I can again have a place where I can get a few X's as well. That's the next generation we need to focus on onboarding, and all the new tools. Again, I've been so encouraged lately by all the new Pulsechain websites, new onboarding, new integrations, and all the builders have super inspired me, especially on the DeFi side, to just be like, wow, there's so much going on under the hood on Pulsechain that the average pedestrian user can't really see. And I try to shine a light on a lot of it on the show as well. But there's so much going on that I think we are prepared for glory. Like, we are prepared for that bull run. And whenever it comes, it comes. But in the meantime, like, go create some value. That's better than the other way around.
We do what we can.
Second Hex bull run will melt faces. I like it.
Woohoo!
I like it. So what's next, Fast? What's next? We've seen that much ETH go through. We got Treasury stuff. We've got all upgrades. The amazing stuff happening.
Don't forget upgrades.
Wow, we got a Block Explorer upgrade.
Yeah, possibly a second Block Explorer, like through a different outfit. There was that 369 link you posted that I've heard good things about from people who know are in the know, that could actually be a great Block Explorer on top of Pulse Scan. But like, all these improvements making me think there's going to be more improvements, right? Like what if we get improvements to PulseX? right? Like new protocols launched, by Richard Hart and team, limit orders, all the things people have been asking for, like they could all come in a week as far as we know, right? Like we could see massive changes very quickly. We know from the recent events of the marketing that Richard's been working in the background, well, like months and months, possibly years in advance of what we know he was doing. Like, why would we assume he's not doing the same thing on chain with a group of devs that we don't even know about? We don't know the names, don't know who they are. It couldn't. We know about Braytip, but like there could be 50 other guys that he's working with, ready to shock the world with his DeFi. So yeah, I'm optimistic.
Yeah, I've said forever too. When are the new amazing PulseX features coming? I think, like, why would they come in a time when we're not doing a
Yeah.
massive onboarding run, green candles, amazing, everyone's excited? Why would they come when people are bored and leaving and barely hanging on to the ecosystem and just like complaining? Like they will come in the environment that makes them thrive the most. So when things start kicking off and when we do see, the green candles and all this stuff happen, then I think we'll start seeing a lot more dev updates, not just this block explorer thing or asking about, which wallet should we fork or block explorers and stuff like that. I think it'll be more of like, oh yeah, now we have limit orders. Oh yeah, now here's single sign staking. We're going to test it out and see if you guys like it. Don't break it. Here's, here's a V3 liquidity. It just added a PulseX. It appears there's an update. Like, those things I think I've always said, like, they'll be timed. They will come at the right moment. They won't come when you want them. They'll come when the most momentum is going to carry them forward and get people excited and really, really encourage the FOMO. And this question for this why am I trying to pronounce Kata? I'm going to say Kata. Are we going to see a new wallet from RH? I'm hoping we get a super app. I've talked about that. Haven't heard a lot of other people talk about it much, but I would like to have a super app, not more than a wallet, but just has all these integrations with centralized exchange, decentralized exchange, and maybe there's a way to earn ink from it, or there's like special features that connect with your Hex staking, and like maybe there's a mobile app. Like I want to see something big from, Braytip or Pulsechain devs or Richard, whoever's like working on it. I think that would be like the killer feature for Pulsechain when we have the momentum. Everyone's like, oh yeah. It appears in the Apple App Store. You can download this the Pulse app, or Pulse, whatever it is. So, what do you think about that?
I think that too. That like rather than just a new wallet, like we already have, like we have the old wallets. We have MetaMask and Rabby that work on Pulsechain. We have Internet Money that's totally killing it with a Pulsechain built specific wallet, and that requires like building a wallet isn't a set it and forget it type crypto endeavor, right? Like that's that's a team that's going to be working forever to maintain the security of that wallet. So like, yeah, I just don't think it's Richard's bag. I think he'd do better with something like you're saying, the super app that brings it all together, and then rely on things already built by the community. Some of the DeFi apps, the wallet that Internet Money built, to be part of that equation rather than a replacement for what other people have already done.
I think, well, they've already, who knows how long and how much the Pulsechain devs have signed up for. I mean, they already take care of all the client validator client stuff. They're taking updates and stuff as they need to. The new IPFS, the new app, PulseX apps and stuff releases. I mean, they probably have a whole system of like deployment and pipelines and making code changes and internal test environments and all that stuff too. So yeah, if they were to add a super app or they were to add some other product onto the list, I mean, and like I could see, I don't know, we're going to have devs working on Pulsechain for the next decade. I think there's plenty of work to do. I could see plenty of cool products we could see from there. So Fast, I think we covered it, man. I think it's been a while since I did a 2-hour stream, and I know you would like to go as long as possible because your voice is just being tested in every which direction. But I'm getting pretty tired, man. I think I'm gonna take a break, sit down for a minute.
Yeah, well, let's call it a day then. We'll be on my next stream in an hour or two.
Oh, your voice changed odd, and then you went on mute. Are you being rugged? Don't rug us, Richard. Something happened. You sound like is your plane going down? No, don't go down. Stay afloat. Dive, duck, dodge, dick, dove. Dive.
It's going to be a good month, though, Max.
There we go.
It's going to be fun.
Back. You think October is going to be, is Pulsechain going to participate in October?
I feel strongly it is. And on that note, in just a couple days, it's Richard Hart's birthday. I think we should recognize that. On October 9th is Richard Hart's birthday. That could be a good day.
I've heard about that. It's going to be 43, 44, somewhere through there.
He was born
79, right?
Yeah, 79. So I think 46.
45? 46. Wow.
Yeah. Younger than me.
It is his birthday. I don't usually, I keep forgetting every year. I keep forgetting what date, but I'm sure I think I just hear about it on X. Like, oh, happy birthday, Rich. I'm like, okay, let me write a happy birthday post. If Friday is his birthday. So it'll be pretty, I'll be coincidentally, I think I'm going to do a Hex stream. I've been trying to do this Hex stream for like a week. I think I'm going to do a Hex stream probably on that day too. So I'll probably, if I do it, let me shout him out as well.
Right on.
Anyways, fast Abdoul. Yeah, one more stream after this. You're going to be on with Crispy for the live wire. Is that happening tonight?
If he'll have me, I'll be on with Crispy for live wire.
All right, that works. Everyone, that's all we got for you today. Except fast. Catch him later. I'm going to go catch up. I put in the chat too the link to the computer stream. I'm going to have to catch up on that. I'm going to take a walk and maybe listen to that as well. So that's all we got for you today. Scivive and 5555. We are out.
Let's see if they fuck with Kendrick Lamar one time. I remember serving summer, I see from my level, silver, this a nigga, this a family, this the mama count, this I'm a shower, my account, this is never down with this. I say with my DJ, they only fully in the music world, like a fire, westy world, with my taste buds. Ooh, that pussy good, what you say, they know my taste buds. I can't wait to be with you, she got me, you think it's just. Pull up on you, got me, got me, got me, playing gym trust. AM to the BM, PM to the AM phone. Once I drop it, DM, you just got to hate them for. I think when you be on extra, I would say it's fun.
Hey, listen, seriously, stop what you're doing right now and listen. It's important. People are getting rich right now, truly rich, and you could be one of them. You need to see how people are becoming millionaires with Hex.com. Hex's launch phase ends on November 19th, and there's still time to get involved. Hex can make you truly wealthy. Go to Hex.com to find out more. That's HEX.com right now.
This is the greatest thing I have ever seen in my life. This is amazing.